Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello. What's going on?
That was, I want to say, impeccable timing. As soon as it transitioned to the screen of us, you both said something. Perfect.
We planned that. That was
Perfecto.
was a plan. Yeah.
After 200 episodes, you'd think we know how to do this.
Now it's 201. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, if you missed our 200th episode, we had a very special guest. So you can check that out on our YouTube page.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. It was very long. It was a couple hours, wasn't it?
He is a natural storyteller.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, we did 2 hours, right? 2 hours plus?
Yeah, maybe plus. I guess I didn't check the time.
There might have been plus over 2, but yeah.
It was good.
But we're back to the grind, right?
Yes. Now we're back to finishing up season 1 of The Walking Dead. We're gonna do episodes 5 and 6 tonight.
Yep.
Close out this season.
Yeah.
So
the penultimate episode, as they call it.
Yes, that's right.
Wow, Christopher, look at you.
That's a big word.
That's a big word for Elmo.
Yeah, listen, if you were a bad guy, Reflecto, I don't want to hear it, all
right? I have new glasses coming in because of this, okay?
Yeah. Sure thing, Captain Glare, whatever you say.
Oh my goodness.
You know what made that worse was Cooper saying something about it last week.
Completely
unprovoked,
everything. It's not even like I said something in the pre-show.
No.
Oh.
It's not my fault, okay?
Yeah. Just get new glasses, Ryan, for crying out loud.
I'm just going to go blind. That's it. Fine.
You don't need them anyway. I mean, you got to read something? You got notes?
No.
Got some newts? Some newts?
Christopher, don't start with me.
So yeah, we're Wildfire, right? 5? Episode 5?
Yep. So so this is after the attack on the Atlanta group, after all the walkers and Amy and Ed and many others are killed, and then we open up. Well, it opened with Rick trying to talk. He's still trying to contact Morgan, so that was actually open. But and then we go back to the camp, and they're cleaning up.
Carol's redemption, I guess, if you want to call it, even though Ed's dead.
Oh my God!
But Ed is dead.
It's a good thing Ed was dead, because that would have been.
If there was ever any question of whether he was dead, she wanted to make sure there was no question.
Yeah, no, that dude is definitely not coming back, even from the afterlife. He's dead in the afterlife too. She killed him after dying. She killed him several times over.
Yeah.
That was a cool. It's such a cool scene to watch too, because they zoom in on the pickaxe going right into his head, pushing him. And the funniest part is Daryl's reaction. He's over he just doesn't really know who this lady is, and he's just the look on his face was pretty funny, because that would probably be about all of our looks on our faces.
And it's funny too, because fast forward 16-ish years in the future of that show. And that's one of his best friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably his closest friend.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yep. So it's always good to watch these episodes from the beginning, knowing all that we know now. I always like that, because like you said, you think about that, how he's just looking at this lady, he doesn't know who she is, but he obviously knows a little bit about her trauma that she's been through and things, and then he sees it, and now like you said, you look, now they're in France, and they're very different people.
Well, yeah, because you really can't call that her first kill. because he's dead already. But do you? What do you
Well, she
label
killed
that
him
as?
from
Like,
reanimating, I guess, because he would have reanimated. I don't know.
I don't know if he would have either. I mean, when he was attacked, when they show him, he's
He's a mangle, yeah.
yeah. So I don't even know if he would have came back.
But if his brain wasn't
If
messed
his
up,
brain was intact, then he would have came back then.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So
anyway.
that's chalk it
We'll
up.
say
Maybe.
that.
Yeah, her first K.
Yeah.
Andrea's first kill that we know of. Well,
Pretty
actually, no.
gnarly.
It probably wasn't. No, it's definitely not her first kill.
No,
but
because she was in the city and they had to kill a bunch
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, they were fighting.
It's the first kill that we see besides, I think, her shooting someone in the building, right? The first floor of the building.
Maybe.
Did she fire shots downstairs in the shopping in the store? I think she did.
She had the safety on, so.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because when Rick walks over, she says, "I know how to use the safety now."
You know what I should have been doing?
How it works.
I should have been keeping track of kill counts.
Yeah,
Well,
that's okay.
they're already, you can look on Walking Dead Wiki. They've got them on there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm not sure about Andrea, but we definitely, get to watch her emotional, emotions going through her.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. Great. I was gonna say great on scene. I mean, she's a great actor, but
yeah, she's really good. But yeah, that was tough watch. Had to sit there and wait for you. That's what she's waiting on. She wanted to be the one to put her down. She didn't want anybody else to do it, so she stays with her the whole time.
On Rick. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know what safety is. I was like,
Yep. She definitely knows what she's doing now, and so that that's very emotional watching her sit there with her sister, and even when Amy starts to reanimate, you can see the hope, like she's watching to see, is there any recognition before I do this, and it's tough. It's tough.
When she first heard that first breath,
yes,
and you could see the hope on her face, and I'm like,
like she's gonna find something, which then
and so in the earlier seasons too, Daryl spoke so much. I forgot how much he talked in the beginning.
Yeah.
He really had a ton of lines.
And then he had nothing for years except some grunts.
He grunted a lot. That was it. He was known as the grunter. But yeah, I was sitting here and I'm just like, wow, they really gave him a ton of lines in the beginning. What happened?
I don't. Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened there because even his voice got gruffled, got more growly as it went, and things. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I think when they found out about Jimbo, and he was like, "We'll put a pickaxe through his head," and then Rick pulls the gun on him, and he's like, "We don't kill the living," and he's like, he went crazy,
he's funny coming from a guy.
Brother.
He's funny coming from a guy who was pointing a gun at the back of my head, and I'm like, well, he's not wrong, Rick.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing you'd think, but I think a lot of contradictions that come out of Rick's mouth.
Yeah.
Wow, he really is just a walking contradiction. He just through the whole series.
But can you imagine, he's used to being in this, leader, obviously I think him and Shane were the same rank, sheriff deputies. I think both of them were, but Rick was the lead. You could tell Rick, everybody looked up to him. Just even that one scene we see with the other officers and things like that, they're looking to Rick for leadership. They're looking to, so he's used to being that person. So he's feeling like, okay, I gotta lead these people also, because when, if the, world does end or something, a lot of us are going to go into our position, okay, I can do this and you can do this and you're, so you kind of feel that. And so he, probably feels like he has to kind of lead this group. And then you got somebody freaking out. Well, before the outbreak, that's what he would do, to take things under control, is draw his gun and, get things under control. So, but I agree. There's, many times he says and does things and you're just like, wait a minute, I thought you said.
What I will say is it's interesting if you watch the show. I know when I first watched it, the first time I ever watched Walking Dead, I looked at it immediately as Rick was the hero, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's how he gets portrayed. Watch it from the perspective of that he's not the hero. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying look at him like he's the villain. I was like, but you also start to understand that some of the things that he says and does, I understand why people are pissed off. Mm-hmm. Who died and made you leader? I mean, you know, up until a couple days ago, we thought you were dead.
Yeah.
And Shane was the leader.
You
Yeah.
know, and you're the and suddenly you're the mayor. Fuck you.
You know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I know we've said that before that Rick is the villain of other people's stories. He's the hero of his own, but he's the villain of other people's.
For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you could tell like they obviously tried to keep it as like a voting community type thing, but you know, when you have like obviously in the beginning you have Lori and you know you have Shane and he's already got majority vote on a lot of things they want to do, even when it came to like the CDC. You know, Shane was against it. You know what I forgot about that whole scene when they go for the walk in the woods. I literally forgot about that because I like it's just like I was like, oh shit, that's right. They hear like a snap. Well, that was going to bring that up. Like, here's Dale, like this whole time, knowing all this shit, but never says anything to anybody about it.
Yeah,
you know, not until much later, obviously.
Yeah. I think he feared Shane.
Probably.
Yeah, of course he did. I think they all did.
Yeah,
I think they all because they all knew that Shane was unhinged. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I completely forgot about that scene. Honestly, I was like,
it's a good scene though.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it clear why certain things happen down the road.
Right. And I mean, but it's like, you know, what would have been his alibi? You know what I mean? Like, you guys were, what? Shooting a walker that doesn't move fast and, you know, Rick walked in front of you? Like,
you pretty much heard what his alibi was going to be. What he said to Dale. He's like, oh, we should get some reflective vests or something.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, he was gonna Dick Cheney him.
Listen, if after this airs, if Ryan goes missing, we know what happened.
It was the Clintons. I mean, what?
He got killeried.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Yeah. We're all gonna disappear now.
That's fine.
But yeah, it's just that scene alone, I was like, wow, I forgot about this. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Because he had his opportunity, but also you have a witness, you know, with Dale. So, but and that, like, how quiet is Dale? Like, you know, the guy's like an 80-year-old ninja walking through the woods.
Yeah.
So, which obviously leads, like, you hear a twig break in the distance, but you don't hear Dale sneaking up on you. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like what we talked about with like you'd look out across the wide open area and there's no walkers, and then like 10 seconds later you're friggin' surrounded by a horde.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And one of the things that I did notice that, I mean, I've noticed it in the past, but it's not until after we've had so many conversations with the actors. But you can hear the cicadas in the background during the scenes. You know it's sweltering out there. When you hear cicadas going, you know it's a hot day outside.
Yep.
So yeah, this is something I picked up on. I'm like, oh, you can hear cicadas really good in this episode. And obviously you can tell the sun's beating on everybody. Like if you start paying attention to this, you know, the background and everything, you could tell that this was one of those days in the beginning. Like this was one of those blistering Georgia days.
Renee, maybe you know this, but it's something I noticed too. The quarry that they filmed that whole stuff at, right? Was it that close to Atlanta that you could see the skyline, or is that skyline CGI'd in?
No, it should, because that's the one we had talked about.
They turned it into a park or something.
Yeah, they turned it into a park, and it's right on the So I'm sure that.
Oh, okay. Because I just happened to you start noticing things like after like the fourth or fifth watch through, you know, and I'm like, I never noticed the Atlanta skyline in the background. I didn't realize, like, in my mind, I didn't equate that Atlanta was that close to the quarry.
Yeah.
Like they almost made it seem like they had to drive quite a ways to get.
Yeah. Well, because they even say at one point that I think they might even say how far outside of the city they are, because they're talking about putting up signs to warn people.
That's right.
Before they enter the city. So I think Amy says that in the first, maybe, I don't know, first episode or something.
That's right.
Well, the CDC, I know they say the CDC is 100 miles from where they're at right now at the quarry. And I know that Rick obviously has to go to a clearing, has to go to a higher area clearing to use the walkie when he talks to Morgan. So I mean, you can on a clear day, I would imagine you could easily see it. What, 10 miles? I don't know. I'm guessing 5 miles, depending on where you're, like how high you are.
Yeah.
You know how clear the day is, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about when I go, like when we go over the Whitestone Bridge, you know, to go to LaGuardia.
Yeah, you could see the New York City.
That's got to be a few miles. That's got to be at least what,
at least 10 miles.
10 miles at least.
Yeah. Well, in reality, did they say it was 100 miles to CDC?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, in their discussion.
In reality, it's only like 11 miles.
Right.
So
because the CDC is in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like it's specifically in Atlanta itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
when they're all splitting up, so when like Morales and his family are splitting up and they're all leaving, like during that discussion, I believe someone mentions that the CDC is 100 miles away.
Really? Because I can't. I mean, nothing in Atlanta would be 100. I mean, 100 miles from.
100 miles is a long way. That's an hour.
Yeah.
Most, like mostly.
That's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
100 miles? No, wait. Yeah, it may be closer to 2 hours.
Yeah.
100 miles.
Yeah, it's between.
I think like 60, 70 miles is about an hour and change. So, depending on traffic, of course.
I mean, like Fort Benning is like 100 miles. Are you sure they didn't say that?
Because they were talking about Fort Benning as a backup.
Because Shane wanted to go there.
Yeah.
And that would be 100 miles.
I could go through the episode with.
I don't remember it. That's why I'm asking. And I was thinking, I know.
When they're talking about it, I think they're talking about it like when they're having their first discussion about it with him and Lori. Him and Lori are talking about whatever, and then the decision and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure it's in that dialogue in there somewhere.
I'm trying to see. I've got it. I'm looking to see. I'm just curious because I can't imagine where they would. I mean, nothing in Atlanta would be 100 miles.
Unless they just did it for like the.
Yeah, and that could be. I mean, sometimes we're too analytical. I think I want to know.
It's true.
Rick messed up. That was wrong.
But I'm almost. Yeah, I definitely saw 100 miles to something, and I'm pretty sure it was to the CDC. But
anyway, that's a huge discussion in this episode is where they're going next then. And some want to go to CDC, Shane wants to go to the fort, which kind of makes sense too. I think both of them make sense, but you think the CDC should be closer anyway. You would think stop there first, then head, which is what they, I guess, end up doing. But
Yeah, I mean, getting to a military base, obviously. I mean, that would be ideal. I mean, if there's anybody existing, of course, it's going to be heavily armed. I think they even mentioned that too. Like going to the CDC, it's going to be like, if the military's there, it's going to be heavily armed, and how are we going to get close to it and all that stuff.
I think in a real like zombie apocalypse scenario, of a military base is the worst possible idea.
I mean,
and I know it's like heavily defensible and things like that, but there's so many people that would be flocking there,
right?
That all it takes is one person to turn in the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden 1 becomes 2, and 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8, and so on and so forth. And I think that's why you see all these heavily defended areas where there was military were wiped out.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw all the military people like outside of the hospital, right? With Grady Memorial, where Rick was, and that, like, there was the military barricades, there was military convoy trucks, there was all these military soldiers, and they're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
You can only defend it for so long, but there'd be so many people flocking there because they would feel safe there that it becomes unsafe.
Yeah,
that's just my thought process, at least.
No, I would go. I mean, obviously, defense-wise, like you said, yeah. But other than that, I mean, even being able to get close enough to it without being turned around and told to leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's when Shane and Lori are talking. is when it comes up. I don't know.
Comes up?
But the mileage, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe not. But I'm pretty sure that's when it happens. But yeah, anyway, so I mean, we lose Jimbo. We find out Jimbo, in the beginning Jimbo gets bit, and then we go through the whole course of him being sick and Rick thinking that the answer is to take him to the CDC to get help from doctors and everything because of the conversation he had with Morgan about it.
Yep.
So that's pretty much what this whole episode's about. It's about getting everyone on board and get to the CDC.
Yeah.
And then, we get to towards the end of the show, they end up showing Dr. help me out, Dr. Jenner. Yep, and he's doing tests on tissue, and he has an exposure with his finger on his glove. The whole room gets incinerated to cleanse it. So yeah, we're left off with a little bit of a penultimate cliffhanger. So I figured I'd sneak that in there again.
No, we like it. That's great.
I'm proud of you, Christopher.
So they say something. If I can't, it says crossing 100 miles of hostile. It's when Rick and Shane are in the woods.
Crossing 100 miles of hostile territory.
But I can't tell because I don't have my volume up to see who's saying it because it doesn't say.
It's Shane. It's Shane. Because I actually, as soon as you said that, I pulled up the same scene. Let me see. Hold on.
Because it looks like Rick's talking, but
the best way is exposing all kinds of risks, crossing 100 miles of hostile territory. If I were looking for a lifeline, I'd say swim toward something.
Yeah, see, it looks like Rick's saying it though. On the I
can't tell because there's a tree branch in front of his face.
Well,
but I think,
right, yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
So
I think it is Rick. No, you're right. I think it is Rick.
I'm just trying to figure out.
No, it is Rick because he says, "Why can't you back me up?"
Okay.
So yeah, Rick was saying crossing 100 miles of hostile territory.
All right.
To get the Benning.
Yeah, because Shane wants to go to the fort. He wants to go to CDC.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, but it's good to know because I was just, I even missed it. I didn't even see, I guess, who knows what.
And that was another thing to pick up on too, is like that argument that they had because Rick, saying about protecting his family, you wouldn't know, because you're not protecting your family. And, that's where I think, not that I think that's not where I think the craziness started, because the crazy was always there.
Yeah.
But it definitely, yeah, I think that twig we heard snap was inside Shane's brain.
Yeah, right. He cracked. Well, because that's when. Yeah, then he really, he starts getting real defensive, and he's like, "I took care of them. I did they were mine, and blah, all this, and yeah, that's great, but I'm back now. It's like regardless of what you did, that's great, and everything, but they are Rick's family, But yeah, he definitely, this is just starting to whittle away at him.
Has there ever been anything that you've seen, Renee, about even like we talked about where they had the that little the little write-off show that they did for I forgot what topic it was that we were talking about.
Oh, like the webisode?
Yeah, but for Morales and his journey with his family.
Yeah, I guess not that I know of, but that doesn't, because I haven't watched all. I don't know that I've watched all the webisodes.
If they didn't, I think that would be a really good one-off episode.
Especially, what I mean? Especially because he came back.
Right. For 2 seconds.
Right. Two episodes, whatever it would take. I'd be so down to watch that. Because obviously shit went bad somewhere.
Yeah.
Because they were heading to Texas. Where were they going?
Arkansas.
I think
it.
I'd have to go back now.
She said Birmingham.
She said Birmingham?
Yeah. They have family in Birmingham, I believe she said.
Okay. So yeah, something went bad along the way. But that I'd be 100% interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled to see, and I don't see that there is anything there. It says
in Birmingham. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Meet me at Birmingham.
But yeah, it would be an interesting one to see for sure. It's like you said, especially because he returned. And I mean, obviously he made it, he lost his family, then he somehow found Negan and his crew, savior, so yeah, it would be really interesting.
Did they tie Jimbo to that tree? Do we know? I didn't see, like, they never showed him from below the shoulder.
I don't know that they did. Yeah, if it wasn't shown, I guess if they did.
Because he wouldn't take the gun.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see if he's tied to the tree. Mm-hmm. So I'm just assuming he turned and he's been walking the earth.
He's still wandering around somewhere.
Yeah.
Imagine he just like wandered into Alexandria in the final episode.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, shit, I would, how like interested I would be to like see like the journey of a walker. Like, if they took like Jimbo and he turns and then just to see where maybe he ended up at the farm and burnt to death. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
part of a herd and just roamed around,
Yeah.
Trying to find his old buddies.
One thing that this episode really kind of like made me think was they could really truly do like Marvel did a what if series.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like what if the hell's his name, that Carol's husband, Ed. What if Ed didn't die?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if
he was a loving husband?
What if Daryl was the one that was stuck on the roof and not Merle?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there would be so many cool like one-shot episodes they could do that like they could just like fast progress at like major events that happened as a result of this change that was made. Like if
like what if the CDC wasn't ran wasn't run over, you know what I mean, like and failing and falling apart.
Yeah. What if all those scientists didn't commit suicide? What if they stuck to the project and still studied it? You know what I mean? Would 16 years in the future, would they have made any progress, or would it have been all for nothing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you think about it, what if they were able to use, let's say, the technology that they use in the newer shows with the breaking down of the dead bodies to produce fuel,
methane, right? Methane.
Yeah, to produce like biofuel to run the CDC. Mm-hmm. Like shit like that. Just there's so many like angles. There really is. Like when you sit down and do stuff like this, like Renee said, knowing what we know now, and like the shit that we see in the newer shows. You could do a what if. You could do a what if.
Oh yeah.
What if when Rick got shot in the beginning of the first episode, what if instead of getting shot where he got shot, he got grazed in the shoulder, so he actually he wasn't in a coma. So what if he was there during the outbreak and he stayed with Lori and Carl? You know what I mean? Like just like shit like that would be so cool.
Yeah, it'd be like, or what if Shane was the one that got shot and he was in the coma? Then what we see there?
We wouldn't care.
Yeah, I don't think anyone cares much, but yeah.
No, I mean, I would no, yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. And just a side note: this episode is actually like 6 months after the outbreak, just to put a timeline to.
Okay.
So, I always like that because I always try to see like how long because some of the time, it gets very skewed at certain points. You're like, wait a minute, where are we in this after the outbreak kind of thing?
Yeah. Because Jenner mentions an amount of days, I think, right? He says it's day something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he says something.
On day 100 and something, or I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I know he mentions on his daily log or, that he does.
Yeah, he'll say day, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that, I mean, I guess that kind of ties that episode up, I think.
There really wasn't much to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was just a lot of, like figuring out what they wanted to do next, cleaning up from, all the dead bodies and burying their, waiting for Amy, to reanimate so Andrea could deal with that. And
it was interesting though too, like to see Daryl and his mentality of like what's the difference that they're dead, when he was talking about burning the bodies of their people and stuff. And Glenn standing up for it and was like, no, that's not right. These are our people. But then you look at the person that Daryl was at the end of season 11, or even at the end of Daryl Dixon, you know what I mean? And the fact that Daryl very much has a mentality of these are our people, and we do everything we can to take care of our people. No one gets left behind. No one gets treated poorly. and so seeing that shift from young Daryl to this war veteran Daryl, you know what I mean? Like, just the way that he is very cool to see.
It is, and you know, you got to think back that him and Merle were going to rob the Atlanta group and leave.
Yeah,
that was their goal. They saw this group that was not well defended, and just where they were. And he, you know, he was greatly influenced by Merle, you know, being the younger brother, and he always looked up to him for whatever reason. I guess because he had nothing else to look up to. But so his thought pattern was way different than what, you know. Then, you know, he never had a real family, and so then eventually he realizes these people are my family, and he completely changed.
Yeah, especially because Rick became like a true brother to him.
Yeah, he saw what that meant. Yeah, instead of this Merle that, you know, just like crap and does everything else, you know. So, and they both were, you know, I'm sure abused. You know, they both were abused, and they were, you know, they both had a horrible upbringing and everything with their father and all that stuff. So it's no wonder they were the way they were, but it still was just,
And I mean, showing up at the CDC and seeing what it looked like outside, I would already kind of just like use common sense and say, I don't think there's anything left here.
Yeah, but
I don't think there's anything left.
They hoped.
I mean, the military vehicles, though, like, so many missed opportunities, like Hummers and trucks they could carry cargo and all the weapons.
But no, we got Dell's RV. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Not the heavily armored, you know, freaking convoy vehicles.
Yeah, and that's always frustrating because, you know, you think that that would be something in the front of your mind as you're, you know, in this looking for the best possible mode of transportation and supplies. What it always seems like they just leave it. I mean, you know, it's like,
especially for Rick and Shane, who have a, you know, a tactical background. You know what I mean? They have a paramilitary style background, like with law enforcement. You would think that they would have that mentality of like let's check this shit out. Like, what are we rushing for? You know?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, a real leader, Rick. No, but in like a real life situation, I would designate 2 groups.
Yeah.
One group go and scour the people who, you know, if they're in the driver's seat, whatever, look for keys, look for, you know, gather ammo, gather weapons, put them in any one of the trucks that starts, and you know, let's go. You know, get one of them ready so that when we leave here, we're stocked and ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you have problems, you know, whatever, then you run inside. But yeah, I mean, just, you know, we talk about missed opportunities all the time, but at the same time, obviously, budgetarily, I'm sure, you know, renting all that stuff or wherever they got it from, you know, a museum or whatnot, wasn't going to take them and start letting them destroy them, you know, through their TV set. So, but in real life, I'm definitely taking anything I can.
Yeah.
Especially military grade shit.
Yeah. And like when they shot when Daryl shot the one military walker, you know, through the head with the arrow, go there and grab the vest, you know, he's got to probably have mags on him. He's got to have this. He's got to have, like, you know, what are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, all right. So
then we go into the season finale. TS-19, which we learn is test subject 19. And it begins with Shane in the hospital trying to visit Rick again. And all hell has broke loose. And he sees, you know, he's trying to figure out what's going on, and all of a sudden the military shooting patients, and he sees the walkers come at them, and he tries to get Rick out, but he can't. And I think then the power goes out, and I
mean, how hard did he really try, though?
Well, not very, but
Well, I mean, look, you see the military just absolutely smoking people in the hallway. I think one of them gets bit or something like that, and then he ends up just shooting. Yeah, there's like one of them gets bit. He ends up shooting another soldier. It's just all out chaos.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, I'm sure he was a good friend and everything, but at the same point, it's like, I got to get out of here so I can go and, you know, cheat with his wife. So there's that,
That's why I bring up the whole how hard did he really try thing, you know?
Yeah. He had premeditated Lori in his brain.
That's right.
So
he just doesn't do his best, maybe, I guess, for his friend. But what a crazy, I mean, like, just to be able to, from his perspective, watching all that happen, the military, they're shooting patients, and then all of a sudden those cafeteria doors open up and the walkers are coming at the military guys now, and they're just shooting all over, and
you can hear like heavy artillery or some kind of or bombs from planes or something happening outside.
Yeah. Well, that's that helicopter we see later. Rick, there, there obviously was some skirmish going on out there because it was very loud. So it was interesting way to open the episode. And then we see the CD. Then it goes back to the like start picking up where the last episode stopped, and they're coming into the CDC.
And once again, here's a what if for you. What if Shane grabbed Rick off the hospital bed and put him on like the gurney in the hallway and put and brought him with him? What if would Rick have died? Would he have woken up? Like, I don't know. Would anybody in the group have some kind of nursing or first aid skills to run an IV bag? Like shit like that.
Well, but at that point though, everything shut off, so he didn't have any of that anyway. So I mean, I'm just meaning, like.
Just as long as that PIC line is in, you can hook up an IV bag and push fluids.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, I only know that because Ryan worked in a hospital. So listen, I'm not trying to sound smart here, okay?
Let's not get that idea.
I'm not trying to sound like I know stuff, but I just know you can do certain things like that.
Sure.
But that, like, speaking on the what if stuff, that's all.
That is a very interesting thought. So right at the CDC, we meet Jenner. And
things seem fun. Things seem great. I mean, celebrate.
Well, I think it's funny because he does tell them that once those doors close, but I don't think they realize exactly what he meant, because later on he's like, I told you this, and they're all like, wait a minute.
I think as a safety point, like, hey guys, once those doors close, they won't open again.
I mean,
safe. That's what they thought. Oh, we're safe.
Oh yeah, this is perfect. And then they start realizing things aren't quite as good as they had hoped. Because before they celebrate, they do learn a little bit about stuff.
They all seem kind of impressed because Jenner's talking to the computer and the computer's talking to him. Rick wants to know where everybody else is. I'm it. Like, this is what you got. I'm not even the smart one. She's dead.
That's right. You're stuck with me. This is
I wouldn't even have a job here if it wasn't for my wife, type thing. So.
But it's fun to watch them all having fun and eating and drinking their wine and just not thinking about what's going on outside and taking hot showers.
And blood work,
it's crazy. And then we see Shane, of course, a little inebriated and has to force himself on Lori. And
I mean, going back real quick to the blood work stuff, do you think Jenner collected blood work to test just to see if they're infected, or do you think he had other plans?
I think he had
stuff with their blood. Right?
I mean, like, I think he's a scientist. He's I don't know what else, but I think it was more than just that. And maybe that was to test his theory that everyone's infected.
I mean, how long's it been since he's gotten fresh blood samples? You know what I mean? Like,
at least 6 months.
Exactly. So it's like,
or when everybody died, whatever that was. But for sure. But I think it's just maybe to reinforce that everybody is infected, kind of thing.
That's what I figured too. I thought maybe to take the blood and interact it with, the walker blood to see if somebody possibly had blood cells that fought it, stuff like that.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
But yeah.
I think it's also important to note at that point in time that I don't remember who said it. It might have been Kirkman, but they said that the show would never be about the cure.
Mm-hmm.
That the show, the whole point of the show was not to get to that magical finish line where they found the cure and they were able to stop this whole thing. That was never the point of it. It would never be the point of it. So,
And speaking of Kirkman, he has, we mentioned this in another episode, but now that we mentioned it in another podcast episode, and now that we're discussing TS-19, Kirkman has said that he wouldn't do this episode had he the opportunity to do it, to do it over, he wouldn't have done it. I did do a little bit more research on that, and it was actually Darabont's idea to do the CDC episode, because he's like, we're in Atlanta, of course we need it, or like something like, the CDC's here, we have to stop by, kind of thing, and so that was more of his idea. But in a pretty recent interview, he said that, Kirkman said that he felt like it gave away too much stuff, France was, whatever, and I disagree with it. I think, I think, I just think, how else would anybody know? I mean, how, like, it gave a lot of insight and to, watching that happen on the screen, to just see that brain activity and see those things. I just think it was really informative and gave people a better, because again, we go back to the thing in the world of The Walking Dead, zombie lore doesn't exist as we know it, and pop, just different forms of it that we've learned about. And, so I don't know. I just think I think it would have been a mistake not to have this episode.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite episodes.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
and it leads into he mentions France, and then we see France and World Beyond, and then we see Daryl in France. It all it just all kind of goes together. And I think it's really cool in the Dakota scene in World Beyond, and we see Jenner again. These tapes that. And until everything got shut down, he was sending information back and forth with France, they were doing everything they could. And like he said, they were the last holdouts, trying to figure this out, which we know from Daryl Dixon, they didn't stop experimenting and trying and
right.
making it, into something that it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I just don't agree with that. I think it's a very informative episode, and I think it's, I love this episode.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and thanks to Shane too. For him pushing the issue, even though they didn't want him to. But with Jenner finding out what really happened at the CDC, which gives us even more information. He says like a lot of people ran off, some to be with their families or whatever, which is one of the reasons why there's not so many people there. The people that did stay couldn't face going out the doors, to leave because of the way the world was. So they basically, I think he said, opted out.
Yeah.
And said that there was a large rash of, suicides and everything. So it kind of gives you an inside look of like, okay, the CDC was a, protected place. The military, yes, it fell, made it harder for people that want to go outside because they didn't have protection anymore. And the only real option was to just kill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, really eye-opening,
Yeah, for sure.
Glenn calls him a buzzkill, he's like, they're all drinking and have a good time, and Glenn's like, dude, you're a buzzkill, but it gives you like, with this episode, it gives you a real good inside look of, what were people really doing with, with themselves, like trying to figure out what they were going to do with their next step. So, but yeah, they did have hot water and a shower.
Absolutely.
So
that's the important part. And wine.
And the wine, of course. Hangovers, all those good things.
All the stuff that goes along with that.
Yeah.
And Carl trying the wine and not liking it,
Yes.
As kids often do, they always want to try the whatever and they hate it when they're that age.
Yep. We had, Shane try to find Lori vintage wine and got scratched. I'm trying to think who noticed the scrub. Was it Dale or was it T-Dog who said, "Dude, what the hell happened to you?" Somebody said that.
Yeah, the next morning somebody says it. I feel like maybe it was T-Dog that said it. What happened to your neck or something?
Yeah, what the hell happened to you or whatever? And Shane's like, "Oh, I must have did it in my sleep."
Okay.
What? Yeah.
But
right.
And Dale was probably sitting there going,
Yeah, of course he was. Dale, for as much as I really couldn't stand his character, like he had a good rap of everything that was going on.
He always knew.
Yeah, too bad he never shared it with anybody.
Yeah, it's like, dude, tell somebody some stuff.
Yeah.
If Dale had just said something to Rick sooner about Shane having him like at the crosshairs and shit like that, the whole thing would have just gone a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because in the comic, him and Andrew are supposed to have a relationship, I believe.
Dale and Andrew?
Yeah. Even though he is an older man in the comic as well.
Yeah.
In obviously the show, he's more of a father figure, to them. I'm pretty sure if they would have wrote it, he wouldn't have minded, But in the show, he's more of like a friend, father figure type thing for Andrea, and she's obviously going through it, having to just finish off her.
Yeah, he really proves his loyalty to her and his friendship to her in this episode when he's like, "All right, well, this is what we're doing. I'm going to stay here with you," know.
Yeah.
And
we learned about his wife and the battle with cancer and all that stuff and everything. So, it's nice. I mean, you did get pieces of everyone's lives, earlier on, which you forget about, of course, as time goes on. And I think like the glimpses into everyone's life that you kind of lose that as the seasons go through.
Yep.
You just introduce characters and you get like a quick like, oh yeah, I was broken off from my group. We were attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and we don't ever hear a lot of the other history. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. We were fishing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's shit like that. You kind of, you didn't get later on as much as you did in the beginning. So yeah, we learn obviously about Jenner's secret to Rick. We all find that out, that no matter what, everybody turns. We find out about the test subject is Jenner's wife, and that she was the actual brains of the process, and she
wanted him to do this.
Yeah, she wanted him
to watch it and figure it out. Yeah, she was hoping that it would help the cause,
But like, how does that make sense? Because if you're like the 10th smartest person, and the first smartest person saying, "Hey, I'm going to off myself. When I turn, study me."
Well, she didn't off herself.
Well,
she was just bit.
Yeah.
Oh, was she bit? I thought she did. Oh, because he shot her in the head. But
yeah, that at the end after she turned. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So once she was bit, then she was like, "Okay, you have to study."
Yeah, you have to study. Yeah.
You've got me here.
I forgot she was bit.
Yeah. So that's what. But the shot I know what you're talking about. After she turned and they watched it and they filmed all that, then they shot her in the head. So.
But yeah, I guess there's another what if. What if Jenner died and the wife was still alive?
Wife was still alive, and she
have found a cure.
I don't know. Is there a cure?
Well, yeah. No.
I mean, is there a way to make it? You know what I mean? Like we kept thinking that that's what maybe France was doing, but we find out that's not what they were doing.
No, France was developing the super walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of weird for Rick to get into bed with his crying wife and try to play nice, and then have to console her thinking that she's upset about something that she's not upset about.
Yeah.
Because of Shane, but
yeah.
She's just a
not a Laurie fan, huh, Chris?
Well, she's all right as an actress. As a person, no, she as
a Laurie, no.
As a Laurie, no. But yeah, But look, Andrea was a hoochie too, so I mean, whatever. It's the apocalypse, I guess. You never know when you're going to get your last one.
I just wish we would have gotten comic book Andrea, because she was just, she was such a badass, and she just was, so good. And I just hate that they wimped her out. I don't know why they did that. I guess I've never read what made that, why that change, but would have been good to see her in a different light.
Yeah. I mean, then we have the whole freak out over the situation, which we mentioned, where the facility basically just runs out of fuel. And they got to get out of there. But like Jenner told them, once the doors close, you ain't getting out. So, Rick Tater.
Yeah.
Rick Tater starts barking at everybody to start getting your stuff going and whatever and getting out. And what do they use? A grenade, right? A grenade against the window or something?
Yeah. Carol had that pulled out of it was the one that he got in the tank. He found it in the tank. Yep. Brought it with him when she was washing his clothes. She found it and kept it. So Shane's like, I don't think a nail file's gonna cut it, Carol. He's digging through her bag.
What a dick.
And we didn't talk about when Rick butted Shane, when Shane started freaking out inside, and he took the gun and he had to wrestle it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it just became a domino effect of like.
Oh yeah, understandably, you're stuck inside here. You don't want to die, and this building's going to blow up in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
The freak out was understandable at that point.
Oh yeah.
It was just the one who stayed back with Jenna, right?
Jackie. Jackie stayed with
Jackie,
Jenna.
Yeah.
At first, Andrea wanted to, and then Dale convinced her not to.
Well, of course.
And then they run out and it explodes all over the place.
The explosion was pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. For early onset budget stuff, they did a really good pyro job with that.
Yeah. And watching the building collapse was cool.
Yeah. It was a good ending to the first season,
Damn it.
Like,
what happened?
Hold on.
Oh, you're frozen.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh, hold on. I can tell you what's happening in your glasses. Hold on one second. Oh, it's Renee now. Damn it. Ryan, where are you? Oh, there he is. There he is.
Yep, I'm here.
There. You're. Hold on.
What?
You're skipping on me. Hey,
Shut up. Shut up, you dickhead.
Man. Wow.
Kind of grumpy.
I know. Go to work.
Can't work.
That's probably the problem. He has to go to work.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta go to work.
He doesn't want to go to work.
No, I don't.
Ryan, no worky.
I tried to get Chris to hire me, but he wouldn't do it.
What do you? Hey, you wanna make pennies? I can hire you.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Wait until the good stuff comes. Which, you know what? We'll talk about that we do have something good coming in a few months.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk about it.
But we'll sidebar.
Sidebar, all right, yeah.
So yeah, we leave off season 1. Nice explosion. The list of the survivors are as we know them, and we hit season 2 on the next show.
Yeah.
Where they're running from the CDC. The RV breaks down.
Again.
I believe, right? The RV breaks down on the highway.
Well, they get stuck. They get stuck in that tangle on the highway with all that.
Yes.
So I don't remember if it maybe when they started up again, maybe then it overheated. I don't remember.
Yeah. Dale's like, the damn thing's flooded.
Let's just keep it though, because
But we'll leave all the military vehicles behind. But we'll take the shitty RV.
It was nostalgic to him. It was.
And they still had Jim's boat on top.
Yep. Thank God for that.
You got to keep that boat on with the RV. You can't separate the two.
One thing I never understood either was why didn't more people do what they did in Dawn of the Dead? You know, in Dawn of the Dead when they took those like shuttle buses from the mall and they retrofitted them with like snow plows and shit like that and like barbed wire. Why did we do that?
Well, Georgia doesn't have snow plows, so.
But Virginia would have.
True. Well, and Georgia does have some, but I just.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, where's the hanging chainsaws on the side? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where's the where's the propane tank launcher? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could have been some cool things there, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we spoke about that a long time ago. Like, was like, where are all the apocalypse vehicles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it would have made it more interesting. Not that it wasn't interesting enough,
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, but I'm just saying, it would have been interesting to see that.
For another opportunity on
Yeah.
another show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's it. We wrapped up season 1.
Yeah, just like that.
It was a goodie. Six episodes. I mean, it went quick.
Yeah, it's just
We just got to do that 10 more times.
No, we'll be okay. We got so much good stuff coming out.
Yeah, we do.
Between Last of Us and Dead City and
Yep.
So Last of Us is April 13th. Dead City will be May 4th.
Oh yeah, we'll be.
May the Fourth be with you.
Actually, Last of Us and Dead City should have some lap over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they should. Because there was eight episodes I think they got for Last of Us.
Oh man, we might have to start pumping out double episodes. Oh,
yeah.
God. Oof.
Yeah. Get those calendars ready, guys.
We could do 30-30, 30 on Last of Us, 30 on...
Yeah, we could split it up that way.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cool.
All right. Sounds good.
So I guess we'll be back next week with, are we doing, we're going to do the season 2 premiere?
Sure.
Renee, we're probably going to have to double up on some of those because there's 13 episodes in season 2. So
wow.
We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks before Last of Us starts. So we'll figure it out.
We could do that.
We'll be doing something. Just join us, and we'll make it work.
We'll be here regardless. So
we'll talk new stuff.
Yeah, there's always new stuff. There's
always new stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
All
right, peeps.
That's it.
I think that's it. I think. Just thank you for hanging there and listening to us ramble for an hour.
Yes.
Has anybody checked out the Dungeons and Dragons yet on Netflix?
No.
No.
I heard not flattering things about it, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
We'll see you guys next week.
See ya. Bye.
Hey. Renee, Chris, and Ryan going live. Best podcast, Beauty and the Beast. Sit back and catch a vibe. Oh yeah, we talking zombies and apocalypses and all those things you like. Going beast mode, and if you didn't know, it's Peter Z up on the mic. Whoa, hey, TWD family, grab the snacks about the pantry and subscribe and like if you can, please. Or those walkers eat you like some candy. Hey, okay. You at the right place at the right time. No one does it better, that's the bottom line. Beauty and the Beast, this is prime time. Let's go.